Today on Larry King Now, the undefeated UFC female bantamweight champion Ronda Rousey on her new autobiography, My Fight, Your Fight.
What we kind of started to discover while we were writing the book is with every obstacle that I ran into, there was some principle of fighting that helped me overcome it. And it started to become apparent that the principles of fighting apply to every single fight, whether it's to keep the lights on, to feed your kids, to start a new business. And I realized...
So it's a how-to book too?
It's a how-to and autobiography at the same time.
On being the most dominant athlete in the world.
Well, I wasn't expecting it.
You knew they were doing a story, but you didn't know it would be that title.
No, I thought it was going to be all about the whole, business, the Rowdy Inc., and trying to touch on all these different, real kind of unrelated businesses, but it turned into that, which I'm not mad at it.
Plus,
acting really provided an escape for me when I really needed it.
Did you get over that now?
Did I get over what?
Whatever the problem was.
Yeah, I got over it. I made a couple movies and beat up some chicks, and it makes me happy.
It's all next on Larry King Now. Welcome to Larry King Now. Our special guest is Ronda Rousey. Sports Illustrated anointed her the world's most dominant athlete, a bronze medalist in judo during the 2008 Beijing Olympics, a professional record of 11-0, the UFC women's bantamweight champion. Her next fight is against Brazil's Beth Correa at UFC 190 in Rio de Janeiro, Saturday, August 1st. You can see her on the big screen in the film Entourage. And because she likes to stay busy, she also has her autobiography out, My Fight, Your Fight, out now. Explain the title.
The title? Well, I guess what we kind of started to discover while we were writing the book is with every obstacle that I ran into, there was some principle of fighting that helped me overcome it. And it started to become apparent that the principles of fighting apply to every single fight, whether it's to keep the lights on, to feed your kids, to start a new business. And I realized...
So it's a how-to book too?
It's a how-to and autobiography at the same time. And yeah, so it applies to my fight and yours as well.
Were you surprised that the Sports Illustrated treating you as the world's most dominant athlete?
Well, I wasn't expecting it.
You knew they were doing a story, but you didn't know it would be that title.
No, I thought it was going to be all about the whole, business, the Rowdy Inc., and trying to touch on all these different, real kind of unrelated businesses, but it turned into that, which I'm not mad at it.
No, and it wouldn't hurt the book either.
No.
Why did you choose the profession you choose?
Why? I've been drawn to it. I don't know why. I've always wanted to fight. I always wanted to be an athlete, but even from swimming, when I started doing judo, I didn't really enjoy it as much because all you can do is really swim faster. There's no real creativity in it. And with judo, I love that there's no right way to do anything. It's just what works. And I got to learn whatever throws I wanted, and I could put it together in any way. It was a lot of problem solving. And I didn't have to be introspective the way I did in swimming, where you just swim and think all day.
There's a lot of media coverage, I understand, the past few days saying you'd never fight Floyd Mayweather unless you were dating him. That was a good gag. Would you fight him?
I don't think it's proper for an arena full of people to gather around and cheer about a man hitting a woman.
You're correct. That'll never happen.
Yeah.
All right, in 2011, Dana White said he'd never let girls fight, and then you came along. What changed Dana's mind?
I made myself impossible to ignore, and he's a smart businessman. He's not so stubborn to a fault, and once he saw that there was an opportunity there, he jumped on it. And it wasn't like I was calling his office and trying to make myself unable to ignore that way. I made it so every single time he looked at the news, what was going on in MMA, he couldn't avoid my name.
What was your first fight like?
My first fight? Amateur or professional?
Professional.
My first professional fight, we flew in this girl from American Top Team, and I had a dog bite me in the foot. Like 3 days before, my roommate's pit bull bit me in the foot, and I had like 9 stitches in my foot. And my only thought as I like looked at my foot, I was like, oh no, my fight. And I found out a way to get it stitched up without getting any paperwork involved. So I secretly got my foot stitched up. Yeah, I went to the weigh-ins, and I found out a way to just to walk where I went limp. And the doctor had me hop on both feet. I hopped on my bad foot. I didn't make a face or anything. And then as the weigh-ins were about to start, they said, you can't wear socks, you can't wear shoes. You can only wear your underwear, your shorts. And then I started freaking out because my plan was to wear socks. And the girl I was fighting came in 5 pounds heavy. So I was drinking all this water trying to get heavier. And I was like thinking, like, what am I gonna do? And I turned to my old fight manager, and I was like, I think I drank too much water. I'm getting really paranoid. I'm taking my clothes out because you can weigh naked if you're too heavy. And they're like, what are you talking about? She's heavy. I'm like, I'm taking my clothes. I just started taking my clothes off. And they're like, oh, wait, get a towel, get a towel. So I held up all these towels they can't see. And nobody noticed that when I jumped on the scale, I had my back to the room, and I took my socks off last, and I put them on first. And that's how I got in. But the doctor said, you have to win this fight in 1 round or your stitches will burst open and everyone will know. And so I won in 26 seconds, and then went to work the next morning.
In regards to future fights, if you and Cris Cyborg get in the Octagon, there would be 2 million pay-per-view buys.
Maybe.
You would break a pay-per-view record.
I think it definitely would. I think that the Mayweather...
Is she undefeated too?
No, she's been armbarred before.
You don't like her?
I don't like cheaters in general.
How does she cheat?
She takes steroids, and she walks into the cage with a weapon and tries to hurt women with it when she doesn't deserve to have that advantage.
When are you going to fight?
When I'm going to fight?
Her.
Her? Whenever she makes weight. If she can make 145 pounds pumped up full of steroids, then she can get off the juice and make weight just like everybody else and fight. I don't see why I have to make exceptions for a con artist when she didn't deserve any exception at all.
And now you're 11-0. You're going into the next fight in August.
Yep.
In Brazil, huh? You feel pressure?
Well, I asked for it to be in Brazil.
Why? Because you're fighting a Brazilian.
Oh, yes, I'm fighting a Brazilian girl, but it's gotten a little personal between me and her, and I thought
Why?
Why? She fought 2 of my best friends already, and we did this cute...
Did she win?
Yeah, we did this cute little, like, 4 thing, like the 4 horsemen in WWE. The fans started calling us the 4 horsewomen. And so after she fought, Jessamine, she put 4 fingers up and put 1 finger down. The same thing with Shayna, to put the other finger down. And it was just really being extremely disrespectful to try and get my attention, which worked. She got my attention. So when I beat her, I was thinking, like, I want to do it in a way that will really make an example so that girls don't try and disrespect me all the time just for nothing. And so I thought that we were going to Rocky IV this chick. I'm going to go to her hometown and beat her there.
What's the longest fight you've had?
Longest fight? I think it's just over 10 minutes, maybe like 11 minutes.
Oh, that must have been a rough opponent for you. 10 minutes, that's an eternity with you.
Well, I was taking my time a little bit that day. If I finish you fast, that's me at my most merciful. If I don't like you so much, I'll make sure that you don't leave the same way you walked in.
Have you been hurt?
I've never gotten a single bruise from getting hit in a fight yet. But when I fought Liz Carmouche, she got me in a crossface. And she bruised my eye, she cut the whole inside of my lip, she dislocated my jaw. And I was pretty close to probably breaking my neck in front of everybody. And that's when I really knew how much more I want this than the other girls, because it never even occurred to me to give up. My mind was still racing through all my options and decision making.
More with Ronda Rousey right after this. The book is Rousey. Sports Illustrated calls her the world's most dominant athlete. You can't argue with that. You write in the book about being a fighter since birth, going through tough times. What was growing up like?
Well, I was born with the umbilical cord wrapped around my neck, and I suffered from hypoxia, which is like being deprived of oxygen at birth, and it delayed my speech development. I never thought that there was anything wrong with me. I just remember being frustrated that people wouldn't understand me. I would know exactly what I wanted to say. Like, I would say, like, microphone in my mind, and then it would come out as, like, I'm like, "Bleh." It would just make no sense. It would be gibberish.
Well, how did you get involved in judo?
My mom was the first American to ever win the World Championships in Judo back in 1984. And when we moved from North Dakota to LA, all of her old teammates had opened up clubs of their own. And she just went to go visit, and I went and tried it out. And I remember my first day, I didn't even have a hair tie. Like, my hair was all crazy all over the place. And I was having such a ball. One of the coaches was making fun of me. And he was like, "Oh, it's a lot more fun than swimming, isn't it, kid?" And I was like, yeah, it really is. And yeah, 6 years later, I was on my first Olympic team. I just had a knack for it.
Was it tough to write the book? Is this a let it all out book?
Yeah, it's definitely a let it all out book, but it wasn't tough because I wrote it with my sister, who just happens to be an award-winning sports journalist. So I lucked out in that way.
You were an Olympic bronze medalist in judo, as we said, but in the book you talk about one of the lowest points in your life was coming back from the games.
Yeah.
Why?
Because the Olympians in our sport are really neglected, and there's millions and millions of dollars made off of these athletes, but I came home with just a handshake and a boot out the door. My family probably spent, hundreds of thousands of dollars trying to get me to win an Olympic medal, and they sent me home with 10 grand and then taxed me on that 10 grand, and it paid for half of a 2005 Honda Accord. And there's no job placement for Olympians, there's no scholarships. It's just, thank you for devoting your life. Maybe you can drive a cab, something like that. So fighting never helped me get a job ever, except for to be a cocktail waitress in Crenshaw.
So the first real money was in MMA.
Yeah, but not for a while.
I know.
Not for a while.
You struggled.
Yeah, but I don't know, sometimes I miss those days a little bit. I call it the simplicity of the struggle versus the complexity of success. And it was hard, but it was simple. I knew exactly what I needed to do. I needed to go work this amount of hours and train these amount of hours, and I needed to pay these bills and win this fight, and that's it.
Always been self-confident?
No.
You're very self-confident.
I come across that way? That's good. No,
you have no doubt you're going to win every fight, right?
Not at all. No. Well, my mom raised me to think that way. She would say, someone's got to be the best in the world. Why not you?
Have you had fear in the ring?
Not so much when I'm in there, but yeah, I'm scared every fight. But it's not. I'm not really scared of physical harm. I'm scared of losing everything I've worked for, because there's been so much work put in that I stand to lose it every single time I go out there and put it on the line. And I fear failure more than physical harm every single time. And if I wasn't scared, then I couldn't be courageous. I'd just be reckless.
Are a lot of the fighters friendly out of the ring, out of the octagon?
Yeah, the vast majority of them are. I think about it, the person you're fighting, you have more in common with that person than anyone else in the room, because that's why you guys are fighting over something. It's both so important to you both. And it almost bonds you in a way with that person.
You think John Jones will be welcomed back to the UFC?
I don't know. I don't know, but I think that him staying active is probably the best thing for him. Free time.
He's suspended indefinitely, right?
Yeah, he is. But I would like to see him busy as opposed to having a lot of free time on his hands.
We'll talk with Ronda Rousey about acting, and we'll be right back. The book is Rousey. I've been saying it's just Rousey. The book is My Fight, Your Fight. And they put the name of the book on the side of the book and not on the front of the book, where titles are supposed to go. Why didn't the title go on the front of the book?
I didn't design it. At first I wanted it to just be called My Fight. And then there was some debate about it, and so we compromised on My Fight, Your Fight.
But they put it on the side.
And it moved to the side.
A lot of talk about the pay difference between male and female actors. You're in movies now. We'll talk about that in a moment. Do male fighters make more than female fighters?
Well, I don't know exactly what everyone else's contract looks like, but I think within the next few fights, I'll be in the top, I don't know, 5 or 10 money making of all time in MMA. So, I'm paid well.
Is there big money in MMA?
Well, a lot more than Olympic judo.
Yeah, how did you come to get into being the Expendables with Sly?
I just got a call one day that Mr. Stallone would like to meet with you, and I had no clue why. And so I met with him one day, him and his producer, I think it was Kevin King, and me and my manager, and me and my agent, Brad. And I think we just had one meal, and I had no idea what it was about. He brought up Expendables, would you be interested? And I said, of course, and he wanted to meet again, just me and him, I think, to make sure that I wasn't crazy. So I wouldn't have like a babysitter to kick me under the table if I was about to say something nuts. And then I met with him one more time after that just to read lines with him. So he already gave me the part before I even read lines. And then he took me, we were about to leave, he took me into his office and like gave me some lines. And he was standing around and like yelling and doing all these different things, giving me acting 101. And he had faith in me from the very beginning, even with zero experience.
He's a great guy.
He really is.
I like Sly. Got a nice wife, good family.
Yeah,
a lot of fun.
Incredible.
Did you take to acting right away?
Yeah, I loved it. And I was going through a little bit of a stressful time in MMA. I just finished doing The Ultimate Fighter, which was a really bad experience for me.
Why?
Just because I felt really disrespected and trapped in a situation I couldn't get out of. And acting really provided an escape for me when I really needed it.
Did you get over that now?
Did I get over what?
Whatever the problem was.
Yeah, I got over it. I made a couple movies and beat up some chicks, and it makes me happy. I don't think you get over anything.
Now tell me about your part in Entourage.
I'm me. I'm myself.
You play yourself?
Yeah, and it's my first not action movie, so I can't really lean on the physical side. It's more comedy, little romantic comedy. Different.
You have fun doing it?
So much fun. Oh, I can't. I hope they make another one. I really do.
You like acting?
I do. And I think it enabled me to even fight longer, because if I'm going from camp to camp to camp, it's stressful. It's really stressful fighting, and it just offers a little bit of a reprieve in the middle that makes me miss it. I filmed Expendables and Furious 7, and I couldn't wait to get back into camp. And I'm going to do a couple fights in a row, and I'm already looking forward to doing my next movie.
But fighting will end,
I know, eventually.
Athletes, the cheering stops. Do you want to be an actress after that?
Yeah.
Full-time?
Yeah, I do. But I don't want to be starting from zero like I had to between judo and MMA. I learned that lesson. I want to stop. When it comes to time I can't fight anymore, I want to start acting full-time right away.
Has WrestleMania come to you? WWE, our friends over there.
Well, I got to show up and do a cool little thing at the last WrestleMania.
What'd you do?
I had a little bit of a confrontation with Stephanie McMahon and Triple H, and Rock helped me out to bring me in. Yeah. I had a confrontation.
They all stage these things.
Yeah, but it didn't go perfectly to plan either. I ended up having to make up a throw that I never did before on the spot, and Stephanie, even between me and her, didn't really go according to plan.
Would you ever want to wrestle?
Yeah, I love it. Oh, it was so cool. Had 77,000 people losing their minds. And
WWE said, come be a professional wrestler for a while. Would you do that?
If I could fit it in, but I wouldn't give up anything else for it. But I think I can do everything at once. Why not?
What do you enjoy most about MMA?
What do I enjoy most? From the moment after I win for the next week after. And I just float. Nothing, everything is okay. There's nothing that needs to get done. I've done my bit that I need to do, and it's just earned rest. A lot of people rest their whole lives and they enjoy it just fine, but that week of earned rest is what I really love. And that moment after I defend my belt, it's like I get a little piece of that Olympic gold that I missed out on. And I just get a chance to make up for it every time I get in there.
You're going to fight in August. When do you go into training?
Well, I'm always in training. I trained this morning, but I'm officially in camp, I think, on the 7th of June.
When you get down to Brazil?
I think like 10 days before, like a week and a half before.
Ronda will answer some of your social media questions. We'll play a little game of you if you only knew. My Fight, Your Fight is the book. Ronda Rousey is the guest. We'll be right back. The book, My Fight, Your Fight, Ronda Rousey made the front cover of Sports Illustrated as the world's most dominant athlete. She is quite a lady. Are you dating anyone?
No, not at the moment.
Okay, we have some social media questions for you. Kyle Martin from our blog. Growing up, was there a woman athlete that inspired you?
Yeah, my mom. But I did read Billie Jean King's biography in the 7th grade. Yeah.
She's a great lady.
She seems like it.
George Huzar wants to know, if you were told you could go back in time and win the gold medal in judo, but your first MMA fight would be a loss, would you take the gold for a loss?
No, I wouldn't. It was meant to go exactly the way it went.
Ninja Cowgirl 99 on Twitter. What's the best pep talk you've ever received before a fight, and from whom?
My mom. My mom gave me the best pep talk before the 2004 Olympic trials. And I was 17 years old and about to go out there. And I found out later that my mom was secretly mic'd and being filmed. And I remember being mad at her. I was mad at her that she let someone else see that moment because it was so intimate that I felt embarrassed because I'm all pumped up and she's telling me how I deserve to beat everybody and I'm slapping myself in the face and I'm getting all ready. And then I went out there and I did it. And yeah, I'm actually so happy now that we have that on film.
Does she go to all your fights?
Yeah, she does.
Jack McCracken on our Larry King Now blog. Which UFC fighter do you enjoy watching compete?
My favorites? I love watching John Jones fight. I love watching Jose Aldo. And my favorite match ever, which a lot of people will disagree with, but I love this one, was Mighty Mouse versus Dominic Cruz. Because before they added the 25-pound division, Dominic Cruz was the 35 champ, and Mighty Mouse was ends up being the 25-pound champ later. So it was like a super fight before they even added the other division, and it just looked like the
Who
most.
won?
Dominic Cruz won a decision, but it was the most ninja backflip stuff that I ever seen in my life, and I was so impressed. And other people were like, "Oh, that was a boring fight," and I'm like, "You don't know what you were watching." And technically, it was amazing. So anyone could be good.
Arturo from our blog. What part of your journey has been even better than you imagined?
Ooh, that's hard. Buying a house.
Really?
I never thought I would care. I was always the type that would rent an apartment and just throw knives at the wall and be like, whatever, I ain't getting my deposit back. And just, I finally, when I got a house, I didn't realize how much it meant to me until the first earthquake. When I was in it and I woke up out of sleep and I'm like, oh no, my house. And I never thought of that before, that I would actually care about something, like an actual inanimate thing. And now it's become, I'm like, oh, I'm gonna put vertical gardens here and all this stuff. I can feel myself nesting. It's such a lady, girly thing that I never thought I'd be into.
You live near your mom?
Yeah. She's like on the border of Santa Monica and Venice, and I'm in Venice.
We'll play a quick game of You Only Knew. I just throw some questions at you.
Okay.
Who's the first boy you kissed?
Ooh. His name was Emmanuel. His name was Emmanuel, and it was like
How old were you?
Oh man, was I in the 6th, 7th grade? I was in the 7th grade.
In California?
Yeah. But it was more like we had him and his brothers, Darren and Emmanuel, his two twin brothers from Bulgaria. I remember they were both from Bulgaria. They were so cute, and they were like the boys that hung out with our group. And then I found out at one of our friend's birthday party that he had a crush on me. So we went out for 24 hours, and I gave him a kiss.
You ever find out what happened to him?
No, I don't. I just know him and his brother got really, really tall.
What's a superpower you'd love to have?
I would want to be Jean Grey as Phoenix, but not crazy.
Someone you'd love to face in the Octagon?
Well, Betch Correia on August 1st. That's who matters.
Favorite city to fight in?
Well, my favorite so far has been at the Staples Center, just at home, because It was really special doing it in my own backyard. I would drive past the Staples Center every day on the way to the gym and point at my own billboard and be like, "She's gonna die!" I would do that every day while I was driving, but in in a nice, respectful way.
How long
I
was
her.
that fight?
How long was it? 14 seconds.
If you were in the WWE, what would your name be?
Well, Rowdy, from Roddy Piper. That's where it comes from.
Music you listen to working out.
Hector Lavoe.
Favorite movie besides the armbar? Favorite move, rather, besides the armbar?
Ooh. Well, I would say an Uchimata.
Favorite fight scene of yours in a movie?
Ooh. Well, there's Roddy Piper in They're Alive, which was like the longest fight scene ever. I thought was very cool. And then pretty much all of The Raid and Ong Bak.
You have a pet peeve?
People that pick at their feet. Like,
oh yeah,
I don't know why.
I don't like that either.
And I do a lot of like barefoot stuff, and so if someone's like picking at their feet and then like try to like grab my gi, I'm like, ooh, feet hands. Like, I don't know.
You're a delight, Ronda.
Thank you so much.
Don't mess around with me, Ronda.
Okay.
Don't mess around. Ronda Rousey, my special guest. Make sure you go buy her book, My Fight, Your Fight. It's in stores now, and you can see her in Entourage. And remember, you can find me on Twitter at King's Things. I'll see you next time.